open again. 15 to 16 Assam Congress MLAs voted for Murmu, claims Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma. AIUDF takes pot shots at the Congress. Well, big Northeast Live exclusive, the Indian Air Force to join search operations to trace 19 Assam laborers missing in Arunachal Pradesh. Uncertainty looms over whereabouts of missing persons. Train services between Guwahati and Silchar resumes for the first time after devastating floods and landslides. Resumption of services comes as big relief to commuters. Tragic road mishap in Arunachal Pradesh claims lives of 4 Assam youths. Bodies recovered after 2 days of relentless search operations. And third case of monkeypox detected in India. 35-year-old returnee from the UAE tests positive in Kerala. Hello to all our viewers and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. Let's take a look at the top story this evening. Well, the presidential poll has exposed the complete divide in Assam Congress and the state's opposition ranks once again. Now, of the total 124 MLAs that voted for the presidential polls, 104 backed the NDA candidate Draupadi Murmu, while only 20 voted for the opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha. Now, the results show that as many as 22 opposition MLAs cross-voted in favor of Draupadi Murmu. Now, who are these 22 MLAs and which party do they belong to? Well, Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has claimed that of the 22, around 15 to 16 are from the Congress, while a couple or more from the AIUDF MLAs voted in favor of the NDA candidate. Now, the Congress has a total of 24 MLAs in the Assam Legislative Assembly, while the AIUDF has 15, which means that close to 70% of the Congress MLAs may have voted in favor of Murmu. Well, this comes as a major embarrassment for the Congress, especially after the party accorded a grand welcome to Sinha in Guwahati just ahead of the presidential polls. Well, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, meanwhile, has termed the cross-voting as unanimous support for the NDA presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu.
126 জন বিধায়ক আছে তাৰে দুজন বিধায়কে ভোটদান কৰা নাছিল আৰু 124টা ভোট ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি পদৰ প্ৰাৰ্থীৰ বাবে দিয়া হৈছিল তাৰ ভিতৰত দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানীয়ে 104টা ভোট লাভ কৰে আৰু যশৱন্ত সিনহা ডাঙৰীয়াই 20টা ভোট লাভ কৰে মই ভাবো যে ইয়ে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মুৰ প্ৰতি অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ অকুণ্ঠ সমৰ্থনক খুচাইছে আৰু অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ এক প্ৰকাৰ ক'ব গ'লে নিজৰ প্ৰাৰ্থী হিচাপে অসমৰ ৰাইজে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানী গ্ৰহণ কৰিছে মই ভাৰতৰ পৰৱৰ্তী ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি হিচাপে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানীক অভিনন্দন জনাইছো আৰু তেখেতৰ কাৰ্যকালত দেশৰ গৰিমা আৰু বৃদ্ধি হওক তাৰ বাবে কামনা কৰিছো মই যিমান দূৰ জানো আমি 22টা ভোট এক্সট্ৰা পাইছো 4জন প্ৰায় সেই ভোটৰ 15-16টা ভোট আমি কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা পাইছো 15-16টা ভোট কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে 15-16 ভোট কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে এই কাৰণে আহিছে যে যিবিলাক সমষ্টিত আদিবাসী আৰু বাগানৰ ভোট আছে তেওঁলোকৰ এটা মানসিকতাত আছিল যে এবাৰ আমি দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মুক ভোট দিব লাগে আৰু বাকি 2-4টা ভোট ইউডিএফৰ পৰা ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্টও আছে আন্দোলনো আছে কিন্তু মই জানাত 15-16টা ভোট কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে এইটো মই বিভাজন বুলি নাভাবো ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি পদৰ প্ৰাৰ্থী বা ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ ভোট বিবেকৰ জৰিয়তে হয় আৰু সেই কাৰণে মই ভবা নাই এই বিভাজন বিবেকৰ মতে পৰিচালিত হৈ ভোট দিছে
Well, meanwhile, the Congress seems to be short of points of defense when it comes to explaining the numbers. CLP leader Debabrata Soikya shifted the entire blame over cross voting by MLAs to the ruling BJP.
It is very unfortunate that in spite of the possibility of getting 37 votes, the opposition candidate in presidential elections in Assam got only 20 votes. And we Congress had 24 members. So it is apparent that at least 4 of our colleagues did not vote. And it may be more if the other parties claim that they have voted for the opposition candidate, then it may be 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know the number, and it is a secret ballot. But it is very unfortunate. Thus, ruling party, Bharatiya Janata Party, is responsible for such kind of dirty politics, and we condemn the policy of the BJP to destroy opposition unity.
The AIUDF, meanwhile, called the Congress out for its alleged double standards from the day of notification for the presidential polls.
यूडीएफ तो क्रॉस वोट नहीं किया है, ये पहले से मैंने क्लियर कर दिया. जिस दिन नोटिफिकेशन हुआ, इस दिन भूपेन बोरा डांगोरिया ने क्या बोला, यूडीएफ वोट नहीं करेगा. फर्स्ट डे कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट, असम कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट यूनिटी तोड़ने का काम शुरू किया एज पर बीजेपी इंस्ट्रक्शन. चीफ मिनिस्टर ने जो स्टेटमेंट दिया था, जो कांग्रेस का सीएलपी लीडर, ओपोजिशन लीडर जो है देवव्रत सैकिया जी, इन्होंने बीजेपी कैंडिडेट को वोट करेगा. इलेक्शन का दिन तक कांग्रेस का सीएलपी लीडर देवव्रत सैकिया जी ने एक दिन भी नहीं बोला कि चीफ मिनिस्टर ने गलत बोला है, हम वोट नहीं करेंगे, ये नहीं बोला है. इलेक्शन से पहले कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट भूपेन बोरा जी ने असेंबली का अंदर में प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शन के लिए एक मीटिंग किया था, जिसमें 3 एमएलए था और बाकी सारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट प्रेजेंट था. जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट कोई वोटर नहीं है, तो इसका बाद अगर कोई बोलेगा कि कांग्रेस ने सारा वोट नहीं किया तो ये गलत होगा. कांग्रेस का हर जगह से क्रॉस वोटिंग का खबर आ रहा है और असम से हाईएस्ट क्रॉस वोटिंग कांग्रेस ने किया है बीजेपी का पक्ष में.
Now, meanwhile, the Assam Congress chief Bhupen Bora has said that the Congress can no longer deny that at least 4 party MLAs have cross-voted. Well, Bora said that the party, all efforts will be made to identify those who betrayed the party.
আসল সমীক্ষাটোতো সবেই জানে. মই দলৰ সভাপতি হিচাপে যেটো অনুভৱ কৰিছো যে আমি 26টা ভোট পাবলগীয়া আছিল, 20টা ভোট পাইছে, তাৰে 24টা ভোট আমাৰ নিজৰ দলৰ আছিলে. আমাৰ যদি নিজৰকেইটা আমি ঠিকমতে দিলোহেঁতেন তেতিয়া 24 হয়. গতিকে সেই 4টাৰ পৰাটো আমি মুক্তি নাপাওঁ. গতিকে 4জনক বিচাৰি নুলিয়ালৈকে আমি শান্ত নহওঁ আৰু 4জনক বিচাৰি আমি উলিয়াই ৰাইজৰ আদালতলৈ আগবঢ়াই দিম. আপুনি গাদ্দাৰ বুলি কয়, যি বিশেষণেৰে বিশেষিত নকৰক, কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা যে ক্ৰছ ভোটিং হৈছে এই কথাটো এতিয়া লোকঢাক হৈ থকা কংগ্ৰেছৰ নিয়ন্ত্ৰণ নাই. যদি সব দুখ আমি লোকৰ গাত জাপি দিওঁ, গোটেই দুখবিলাক যদি লোকৰ গাত জাপি দিবলৈ আমি দল হিচাপে চেষ্টা কৰোঁ, তেতিয়াও আমি মানি ল'ব লাগিব যে 4জনেতো ক্ৰছ ভোটিং কৰিছে. আমি যদি খন্তেক সময়ৰ কাৰণে কওঁ যে বাকী দুখ সব লোকৰ, তেতিয়াও 4জন বিশ্বাসঘাতক কংগ্ৰেছত আছে. যদি কংগ্ৰেছৰ গোটেই কেইজন বিধায়কে ভোট দিলেহেঁতেন, তেতিয়াহ'লে আমাৰ বিৰোধী সন্মিলিত প্ৰাৰ্থীজনে 24টা ভোট পালেহেঁতেন. আৰু ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি নিৰ্বাচনত হুইপ নাই. হুইপ নথকাৰ কাৰণে যদি কোনোবা এজন কংগ্ৰেছী বিধায়কো কয় যে মই বিবেকৰ তাৰণাত, বিবেকৰ নিৰ্দেশত মই দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়াক ভোট দিছোঁ, কথাটো বেলেগ হ'ল. তেওঁক ৰাইজে বেলেগ ধৰণে ল'লেহেঁতেন. কিন্তু শৰীৰে সতি শৰীৰটো এফালে ৰাখিছে আৰু ভোটটো সিফালে দিছে, এইটোতো গ্ৰহণযোগ্য হ'ব নোৱাৰে. চিনাক্ত হৈছে নেকি? চিনাক্ত কৰিম আৰু কৰিব পাৰিম. আপোনালোকৰ দলৰ নিয়ন্ত্ৰণ নাই? দলৰ নিয়ন্ত্ৰণ কেতিয়াবা কেতিয়াবাতো আপুনি চলাই থকা গাড়ীখনো এক্সিডেণ্ট হয়. এদিন আপুনি চলাই থকা গাড়ীখনো এক্সিডেণ্ট হয়.
Well, not only in Assam, a sizable number of MLAs from across the state assemblies cross-voted in support of President-elect Draupadi Murmu, defying their party's stated support to the opposition candidate. Well, the BJP sources said that around 126 MLAs from different assemblies cross-voted in their support. Now, counting of votes also suggests that Murmu was the beneficiary of cross-voting from 17 MPs. Assam, Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh assemblies witnessed a significant number of opposition MLAs voting for the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance's candidate. Now, around 22 MLAs in Assam and 20 in Madhya Pradesh assemblies are likely to have cross-voted. Well, 6 opposition MLAs, each from Bihar and Chhattisgarh, 4 from Goa, and 10 from Gujarat, may also have voted for Murmu. Well, Murmu's tribal background appeared to have drawn support from opposition MLAs from Jharkhand too, where the ruling Jharkhand Mukti Morcha had already announced support to her. While set to be India's first tribal and also the youngest president, Murmu received maximum votes from Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra assemblies, while Sinha got his largest share of support from West Bengal. Now, all MLAs from Andhra Pradesh, where the ruling YSR Congress as well as the opposition TDP had pledged support to Murmu, voted for her. Now, on the other hand, Sinha swept all votes from Kerala MLAs as the ruling left and the opposition Congress had both supported him. Now, Murmu also received all the votes from Sikkim and Nagaland assemblies. Now, if we look specifically to Assam, 22 votes from a total of 42 opposition MLAs have gone in favor of Murmu. Within the NDA alliance, the BJP has 53 votes, the AGP has 9 votes, and the UPPL has 7 votes, which have all gone to Murmu. Now, meanwhile, Murmu has also got votes of 3 BPF MLAs. Now, with this, Draupadi Murmu has got 82 votes from the ruling NDA alliance and 22 votes from the opposition camp in Assam, while the opposition has 44 votes in their kitty. Well, here, 2 AIUDF MLAs were not present on the voting day. Now, allegations have come out that there have been cross-voting from the opposition camp, which helped in Murmu's victory. Now, meanwhile, Draupadi Murmu's presidential election victory was also celebrated with much vigor and enthusiasm in Sikkim. Well, a victory procession was carried out today from District Collector's Office till Mangan Town. The Cultural Minister Samdup Lepcha, Forest Minister Karma Lode Bhutia, chairpersons, councillors, and people from all walks of life waved the tricolour as they participated in the rally with poster cards while performing traditional dances.
अनि गाडीहरु विशेष तपाईलाई यस्तो पाराले हामीले यो गाडीको पार्किङ यसरी मिलाएको छ विशेष यो लाचेन मंगनपति
जिस प्रकार से हमारा सामान्य मुख्यमंत्री का सोच है विचार है सिर्फ देश के साथ और हमारा विकास का साथ भी एकदम पैरेलल चलता है। हम हमारा मुख्यमंत्री जी को भी हम हमारा दिल से हमारा उत्तर जिला का जितना भी ट्राइबल है हम लोग वहाँ को भी स्वागत करता है। वहाँ का जिस प्रकार से निर्देशक हम लोग का करता है, हम लोग को आशीर्वाद देता है, हम दिल से हम लोग स्वागत करता है, हमेशा स्वागत रहेगा। हम वहाँ को स्वागत करता हूँ। और जिस प्रकार से इधर आज फंक्शन हो गया हम लोग का उनका हम लोग का ये अभी हम लोग बहुत बाजार तक हम लोग जाएंगे, बाजार का सब उत्सव होके हम लोग है, इसलिए हम लोग बहुत खुश है। अभी हम लोग बाजार तक पैदल जाके हम लोग का देश का संस्कृति का इधर शो हो गया। सभी अभिनंदन करता हूँ। मैडम जी को हम लोग तरफ से हम लोग ट्राइबल का तरफ से मैडम जी को एकदम शुभकामना रखता हूँ।
Well, it is not only in Sikkim, the tribal communities in Manipur also celebrated Draupadi Murmu's victory. Now on to another big story. The Supreme Court has stayed proceedings against 30 troopers of the 21 Para Special Force in connection with the voting shootout in Nagaland that led to the death of 14 civilians last December. And the Supreme Court bench, headed by Justice Indira Banerjee and V. Rama Subramanian, also observed that the death of a paratrooper during the incident has not been investigated yet. It may be mentioned that the 21 para SF troopers were booked by the Nagaland police in connection with the quote-unquote botched encounter. Now, the big decision by the Supreme Court comes in response to a plea filed by a kin of a major who was booked by the Nagaland police. Now, the petitioner sought quashing of the concerned First Information Report, or the FIR, the findings and recommendations of the SIT appointed by the Nagaland government, and all other ancillary proceedings arising out of the December incident, including the complaint filed by the National Human Rights Commission. Now, as per sources, the petitioners prayed before the court that the SIT of Nagaland police and the state functionaries had allegedly turned a blind eye to the safety of the accused and their family members by revealing their personal information. Moreover, the fact that despite being protected by the Armed Forces Special Powers Act and the Army Act, the paratroopers are being proceeded against under the Criminal Procedure Code instead was argued. Now, moving on, the Indian Air Force will join the search operations in tracing the 19 laborers from Assam who have gone missing in Arunachal Pradesh. All this exclusive information has been revealed to Northeast Live by none other than Kurung Kome Deputy Commissioner Benga Nighi. Now, the Kurung Kome DC said that the IAF choppers will also be pressed into service. Meanwhile, 35 SDRF personnel, along with locals, are already engaged in search and rescue operations. Well, let us listen into the exclusive information provided by the Kurung Kome DC to our correspondent, Ripunjoy Das.
We are now being joined with the Deputy Commissioner of Kurungkume District, Mr. Nige Bengia. Sir, welcome to Northeast Live once again. Sir, has there been any update from the Indian Air Force? Are they joining the search and rescue mission?
Just we have discussed with our Secretary Civil Aviation also, and as per his statement, this IAF has already approved for providing of this IAF helicopter.
Okay.
So now they are planning at Shillong when the helicopter should be sent to Arunachal Pradesh, that is Daming. So I think as per statement of our respected secretary, sir, the helicopter survey rescue mission will be materialized today itself or tomorrow.
And sir, on ground, the SP of the district has left for the...
On ground, already on ground. There are 25 personnel of SDRF team. And along with them, our local rescue teams are there on the ground. And Amara SP Kurung Kome district, he has left early in this morning for Daming, and he will also supervise the rescue team.
So, has there been any response from the NDRF?
No, NDRF, we have not received any information from NDRF. We have already send the requisition. The requisition also, I think you have already got that copy also. We have already, but yet we have not getting any information from NDRF.
Sir, any information from local villagers of any whereabouts? Because because it is more than 2 weeks now.
Yeah. It is more than 2 weeks now, but no information, no clue from the villagers also. And that is, and another is that there is the timing, there is no network service there, mobile service is not there. So time to time, from hour to hour, information to get information is also very hurdle for us, very problem for us also. So also latest में कोई ऐसा no fresh information is there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Now on to the big story from Arunachal Pradesh, where the bodies of 4 Assam youths who had gone missing in Arunachal Pradesh have been recovered. As per reports, the 4 youths lost their way in heavy fog and inclement weather when they were out sightseeing at the Sesa Dirang Road. Now the deceased have been identified as Vedanta Bormihila and Nayan Basumatari from Nogao, Sanjeev Das from Tejpur, and Hirak Bodo from Sonapur. Now, the vehicle in which the four youths were traveling has also been recovered from Nisifu in a dilapidated condition. Now, a team of 12 NDRF personnel recovered the bodies after conducting extensive search operations in the area. Well, the big story from Arunachal that we're tracking: the bodies of four Assam youths who had gone missing in Arunachal Pradesh have been recovered. As per reports, the four youths lost their way in heavy fog and inclement weather when they went out sightseeing at the Sesa Dirang Road. The deceased have been identified as Vedanta Bormehila and Nayan Basumatari from Nogao, Sanjeev Das from Tejpur, and Hirak Bodo from Sonapur. Now, the vehicle in which the four youths were traveling has also been recovered from Nisifu in a dilapidated condition. Now, a team of 12 NDRF personnel recovered the bodies after conducting extensive search operations in the area. And moving on now, the Assam Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Union Home Minister today. Now, during the deliberations, the Assam Chief Minister briefed the top leaders about the situation in the aftermath of the devastating floods and developments pertaining to the border talks with Arunachal Pradesh, besides other issues. And we have first reactions coming in from Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, who said that unnecessary controversy has been created as far as the government's handling of the flood situation is concerned. Well, Chief Minister Sharma said that this government has left no stone unturned to deal with the crisis.
মই এটাই কথা কওঁ যে মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী হিচাপে অসুবিধাটো মইহে পাম। এতিয়ালৈকে মই অসুবিধা পোৱা নাই। মই অসুবিধা পালে আপোনালোকক জনাম যে মই কষ্ট পাইছো বুলি। যদি মই কষ্ট পোৱা নাই, ৰান্ধনীশালত যদি ভাত বনাব, শাক চব্জি ভাত দালি গোটেইখিনি আছে, ৰান্ধনীৰ কষ্ট হোৱা নাই, তেতিয়াহ'লে আমি কিয় কৈ থাকিব লাগে? যেতিয়া ৰান্ধনীৰ কষ্ট হ'ব, ৰান্ধনীয়ে মালিকক ক'ব যে মোৰ বস্তু নাই বুলি। গতিকে এইটো এটা অনাহকত বানপানী হলেই এইটো এটা বিতৰ্ক আৰম্ভ হৈ যায়, আৰু বানপানীৰ পৰা বস্তুটো সেইফাললৈকে গুচি যায়। এইটো এটা অসমত টেম্পলেট আছে, এই টেম্পলেটটোৰ পৰা আমি আঁতৰিব লাগে। বহুত বস্তু অসমত শেষ হৈছে, এইটো বিতৰ্কৰ পৰাও শেষ হৈ যাব লাগে। যেতিয়া চৰকাৰে যদি বান বনাব নোৱাৰে, ৰাস্তা বনাব নোৱাৰে, বান সাহায্য দিব নোৱাৰে, তেতিয়াহে কোনোবাই প্ৰশ্ন কৰিব যে দিল্লীয়ে টকা দিয়া নাই নেকি বা দিছপুৰৰ টকা নাই নেকি। এতিয়া যেহেতু আমি গোটেইখিনি কৰি আছো আৰু ইমান ধুনীয়াকৈ কৰি আছো, তাত এইবিলাক বিতৰ্কৰ কি মিনিং আছে? প্ৰথমবাৰৰ বাবে অসমৰ মানুহে বানপানীত ইমান ভালকৈ সাহায্য পাইছে। আজিৰ পৰা মন্ত্ৰীসকল ফিল্ডত আছে, অহা 7 দিন ঘৰ ভঙা, ঘৰ ধ্বংস হোৱা লিষ্ট বনাই আনিব। 10 আগষ্ট 12 আগষ্টত আমি পুঁজি মুকলি কৰি দিম। পুঁজি নাথাকিলে চৰকাৰে কেন্দ্ৰীয় চৰকাৰৰ লগত কথা পাতিব। আজি আমাৰ হাতত পুঁজি আছে, কোনো অসুবিধা হোৱা নাই, ধুনীয়াকৈ কাম চলি আছে। এইটো এটা অনাহকত বিতৰ্ক এটা প্ৰত্যেকবাৰে কৰা হয়, আৰু মোক এই বিতৰ্কটোৰ অংশীদাৰ কৰি ল'ব নালাগে।
With that, we'll take a very quick breather. More news when we return. Stay with us.
जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है, और दिखाएंगे वो जो रहता है आपकी नजरों से ओझल। पहुंचेंगे हम पूर्वोत्तर के हर कोने में।
Political issues.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट की हर खबर से आपको कराएंगे रूबरू।
एक पूरा पहाड़ नीचे आके रास्ते में जो भी आया उसको दबाते चला गया।
नमस्कार, समाचार नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं कविता, स्टूडियो में मैं हूं दुर्मेश,
मैं हूं रविंद्र चौहान,
मैं रश्मि प्रिया शेर, मैं नश्विता महन।
समाचार नॉर्थ ईस्ट हर शाम 6 बजे। जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है।
This is Arjun, a BTech student at Lovely Professional University. I received one of the highest placement packages amongst all freshers in India with an amount of 63 lakhs. Looking back, studying at LPU has been one of my best decisions.
Think big. Lovely Professional University.
News.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying on. Now, before we move any further, let's take a look at your headlines one more time. Presidential poll results brings opposition divide out in the open again. 15 to 16 Assam Congress MLAs voted for Murmu, claims Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma. AIUDF takes pot shots at the Congress. Big Northeast Live exclusive: Indian Air Force to join search operations to trace 19 Assam laborers missing in Arunachal Pradesh. Uncertainty looms over whereabouts of missing persons. Train services between Guwahati and Silchar resumes for the first time after devastating floods and landslides. Resumption of services comes as big relief to commuters. Tragic road mishap in Arunachal Pradesh, claim 4 lives of 4 Assam youths. Bodies recovered after 2 days of relentless search operations. And third case of monkeypox detected in India. 35-year-old returnee from the UAE tests positive in Kerala. Now, train services between Guwahati and Silchar has resumed from today after over a month. The route, which passes through Haflong, was badly damaged by landslides that occurred on May the 15th. Now, despite facing many challenges, the railway authorities raced against time to restore the connectivity. Well, it needs to be mentioned here that people from Tripura, Mizoram, along with the entire South Assam, had been suffering a lot after landslides disrupted the rail connectivity. All right, viewers, the train services between Guwahati and Silchar has resumed from today after a month. The route, which passes through Haflong, was badly damaged by landslides that occurred on May the 15th. Now, despite facing many challenges, the railway authorities raced against time to restore the connectivity. Well, it needs to be mentioned here that the people from Tripura and Mizoram, along with the entire South Assam, had been suffering a lot after landslides disrupted the rail connectivity. Our colleague Swadeep Hasamsa has a detailed report.
बहुत दिन के बाद ट्रेन जो खुल दिया गया है, क्या कहेंगे? ठीक है, बहुत दिन में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है हम लोग, अभी ट्रेन खुल दिया, अच्छा हुआ। अच्छा, अभी 5 दिन हम लोग जर्नी कर रहे हैं। अच्छा, हाँ। कितना दिन बाद? मोर देन 2 महीना 8 दिन के बाद आज। 2 महीना 8 दिन बाद। नॉर्मल। मतलब वैसे तो सिलचर और गुवाहाटी तो, और सिलचर और हाफलंग तो चला दिया गया था। हाँ, लेकिन आज मतलब गुवाहाटी सिलचर आज पहली बार कनेक्टिंग। 12 ट्रेन कल से चलेगा। आज तो शायद दूसरा ट्रेन भी चलेगा होगा। पिछले मई महीने में डिजास्टर हुआ है डिमा हासाओं में बाढ़ के कारण पूरे ये न्यू हाफलंग रेलवे स्टेशन भी पूरी अपनी जपेट में आ गया था। और इस वक्त हम दिखा रहा है कि न्यू हाफलंग स्टेशन को प्लस जब यही स्टेशन था जो एक पूरी डिब्रेस में फंस गया था, पूरे मलबे से भर गया था, यही स्टेशन था। और इसी न्यू हाफलंग स्टेशन में आज फिर से सिलचर से गुवाहाटी की ओर जाने वाला ट्रेन न्यू हाफलंग स्टेशन में पहुंच गया है। लगभग 2 महीने बाद ये ट्रेन जो है फिर से सिलचर से गुवाहाटी तक का जो है सफर जो है फिर से शुरू होने जा रहा है। गुवाहाटी से जुड़ने से फिर से यहाँ का लोगों के लिए और साथ में नाइबरिंग बराक बिली से लेकर त्रिपुरा, अगरतला, तमाम जो स्टेट है उन सभी के लिए भी फायदेमंद होगा। कैमरा पर्सन हेमवेंद्र के साथ मैं स्वदेव हसमसा, नॉर्थ ईस्ट लाइव, हाफलॉन्ग।
Meanwhile, with the restoration of the arterial Haflong Lanka Road, people solely dependent on this route are a relieved lot. The Haflong Lanka Road is the lifeline for the people living in hundreds of villages of Hadingma, Gunjung, Dihangi, Hamri, and Diungbra constituencies of NC Hills Autonomous Council of Assam's Dima Hasao district. Now, during the period of floods and landslides this year, the road was badly damaged at several locations and had hit the communication scenario in the region. However, now with the road completely repaired, locals are relieved.
डिमा हासाओं में बहुत सारा जगह में भूस्खलन हो गया था और भूस्खलन की वजह से रास्ता पूरी काट ऑफ हो गया था। ठीक वैसा ही लंका हाफलंग रोड भी यहाँ पर एक काट ऑफ हो गया था और ठीक आज लगभग 2 महीने बाद यहाँ का डिमा हासाओं का हाफलंग लंका रोड फिर से रिस्टोर हो गया है। और ये रिस्टोर होने के बाद में यहाँ पर आजकल गाड़ी आना जाना भी हो रहा है।
आज मैं एक महीना 1.5 महीना के बाद मैं आज वापस आ रहा हूँ आप लोगों के लिए। तो रास्ता तो अभी फिलहाल तो सही है। 1 महीना पहले आया था, हम लोग इधर में फँस गया था गाड़ी। कुछ यहाँ का पीडब्ल्यूडी डिपार्टमेंट लोग का या कुछ सरकार का इधर में कुछ जेसीबी होगा, वो जेसीबी से हम लोग को मदद किया। फिर हम लोग को बाहर निकल के हम लोग हाफलंग तक तो नहीं जा पाया, फिर इधर से हम लोग वापस चला गया था।
आज फिर आ रहा है।
आज अब फिर वापस आ रहा है। आज देखा रास्ता भी लगभग अच्छा ही हो गया, पहले जैसा था उसका जस्ट 90% 95% तो पहले के जैसा ही हो गया। अभी कुछ 5% बाकी है पहले के लिए।
क्या क्या तकलीफें हुआ था वैसे यहाँ पर जब आपका गाड़ी जब बंद हुआ था, क्या क्या तकलीफें हुआ था?
तकलीफ तो बहुत हुआ था। देखिए हम लोग रिलायंस जियो से आया था, बाद में सर्वे करने के लिए आता है, बाद में बीच में फँस जाता है, गाड़ी नहीं जा पाता है, ना पीछे ना आगे, चाका वगैरह कुछ नहीं हिलता था। बाद में हम लोग कहीं-कहीं तो 2-2 3-3 घंटा इधर में हम लोग बैठता था। दिमा हसाव का जितना भी कार्यकर्ता सरकार लोग है और असम का चीफ मिनिस्टर लोग ने भी बहुत कुछ हेल्प किया इस रास्ता को कंप्लीट करने में। और मैं उन सब लोगों को मैं बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि आम पब्लिक जनताओं को बहुत सुविधा मिला इस रास्ता के कारण से। क्योंकि जहाँ तक मुझको पता है कि हाफलंग में आने के लिए सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ़ यही एक रास्ता है मेन हाफलंग तक पहुँचने के लिए। हाँ, गाँव वाले लोग के लिए भी, और कहीं आना-जाना हो के मेन ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए भी यही एक रास्ता है, मेन मेजर रास्ता है। अगर ये बहुत बिज़ी रास्ता है और बीच में कुछ 1-2 महीना वो गैप हो गया था। दिमा हसाव का गवर्नमेंट ने भी 1 मंथ में इतना रिकवर कर लिया। 2 महीना लगभग लग गया।
जी बिल्कुल, हम वही कहना चाहेंगे, यहाँ पर भी पूरी तरह से यह ज़मीन खिसक गया था और कैमरामैन हेमू दिखा रहा है कि यहाँ का जो ज़मीन जो है पूरी तरह से खिसक गया था और खिसकने के सिंकिंग हो जाने की वजह से यहाँ पर पूरी तरह से गाड़ी जो है आना-जाना पूरा बंद हो गया था और लगभग 2 महीने बाद हम बोल सकते हैं कि 2 महीने बाद यहाँ पर दिमा हसाव के लिए, दिमा हसाव का जनता के लिए, दिमा हसाव का लोगों के लिए आने-जाने का जो है सुविधा होने जा रहा है और यहाँ पर फिर से ये रास्ता जो है खोल दिया गया है।
And moving on now, a specially abled boy from Assam has presented a painting to Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. Abhijit Gatani, who hails from Silchar, presented the painting to Prime Minister Modi while he was accompanied by the Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma and his mother. Well, Abhijit presented the painting to Prime Minister Modi at his residence in New Delhi. Chief Minister Sharma played a pivotal role in assuring that Abhijit gets to meet the Prime Minister in person. Well, noteworthy here is that the Assam Chief Minister had himself written a letter to Prime Minister Modi talking about the young artist and his talent.
আমাৰ শিলচৰৰ এগৰাকী যুৱক আছে দিব্যাংগ, তেওঁ হিয়াৰিং ইম্পেয়াৰনেছ আছে। তেওঁ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াৰ খুব ধুনীয়া এখন পোৰ্ট্ৰেট বনাইছিলে। মই বহুদিন আগতে চিঠি এখন লিখি থৈছিলোঁ যে অভিজিৎ গতানী নামৰ দিব্যাংগ এজনে আপোনাৰ ধুনীয়া ফটো এখন বনাইছে, তেওঁ দিব পাৰিব নেকি। যোৱা পৰহি দিনাখন ৰাতি হঠাতে প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী কাৰ্যালয়ৰ পৰা ফোন আহিলে যে প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰীয়ে পোৰ্ট্ৰেটখন ল'ব বিচাৰিছে, চাব বিচাৰিছে, লগত আপুনিও আহিব। আজি নহ'লে আমি গধূলি অহা কথা আছিলে, কাৰণ আজি আমাৰ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াই নৈশ ভোজ দিছে বিদায়ী ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ সন্মানাৰ্থে। অহা পৰহি আমাৰ মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰীসকলৰ সন্মিলন আছে, 25 তাৰিখে ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ শপত আছে। গতিকে মোৰ অহাটো আজি খাটাঙে আছিলে, কিন্তু অভিজিৎ গোটানীৰ কাৰণে এক ৰাতি আগতে আহিলো।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने तारीफ की, बोला बहुत खूबसूरत बनाई है और इसकी पीठ भी थपथपाई, मतलब शाबाशी दी थी। सीएम सर का बड़प्पन भी बोलूं, और उन्होंने इसको इस काबिल समझा कि वो पीएम सर के पास उनको लेके गए और पीएम सर ने भी बहुत तारीफ की और इसका बहुत मन भी था पीएम सर से। आज पीएम सर हम लोग के देश को कहाँ तक पहुँचा दिए हैं, जहाँ हम लोग हर वक्त, इसका कहना है, जहाँ हर वक्त हम लोग दबे दबे से रहते थे भारत वाले, आज हम सर उठा के, पीएम मोदी सर के कारण हम लोग सर उठा के गर्व से चलते हैं पूरे विश्व में। 3 साल का था तभी जैसे कि कोई ड्रॉ आउटलाइंस करता था ना, तो हम बता सकते हैं कि इनका चित्र है या इनका चित्र है। उसके बाद में ड्राइंग स्कूल में डाला, बाकी उसने अपने आप किया जो कुछ। ड्राइंग स्कूल के सर का बहुत हाथ था।
And moving on now, as part of the nationwide agitation under AIRRBEA, Employees of Tripura Grameen Bank gathered in front of the bank's headquarters at Agartala to demonstrate protest against the central government's proposed plan to privatize all rural banks. Now, the protesters also demand for parity of wages and pension of rural banks with the nationalized banks. Now, the mass protest is being organized under the banner of the Joint Action Forum, consisting of members of the Tripura Grameen Bank Employees Association and the Tripura Grameen Bank Officers Union. The protesters viewed that recently the TGB chairman has proposed to launch the IPO, or the initial public offering, to raise funds through sale of securities or shares to the public, which is considered the first step towards privatization. Moreover, the demonstrators demanded the consolidation of 43 RRBs across India by setting up of an apex body, namely the National Rural Bank of India, as per the proposal of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance, the regularization of the casual and sanitation workers, among other demands.
Actually, intention behind recently government of India meet our chairman sir, and there are some programs for launching IPO. So IPO is one part of one step towards privatization. We strongly oppose its privatization. Actually, rural Tripura Gramin Bank or rural Gramin Bank only for rural India or rural mass. If you privatize the rural Gramin Bank, then where to go? Main agenda opposing privatization of Gramin Bank. And second, one most important, NRBI, National Rural Bank of India. Means there are 43 RRBs in whole India. You club all the RRBs and dealing it from sponsored bank. Second, centrally, all government should be the one banner and dealing it from our sponsored bank. Presently, somewhere is Punjab National Bank, somewhere it is State Bank or other nationalized banks.
Well, the Lok Sabha today passed the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022, which seeks to extend the application of domestic laws to research stations set up by India in the Antarctic region. Now, soon after the bill was passed, the House was adjourned for the day to meet again on Monday at 2 p.m. Now, as soon as the House reassembled at 2 p.m. today, following the second adjournment of the day, the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 was taken up for discussion after Earth Sciences Minister Jitendra Singh moved it for consideration. Well, the bill seeks to extend the application of domestic laws to research stations set up by India in the Antarctic region. India has two active research stations in the Antarctic, Maitri and Bharti, where scientists are involved in research. Now, the bill proposes to prohibit Indian expedition to Antarctica without a permit or written authorization of another party to the Antarctic Treaty, provided for inspection by an officer appointed by the government and for penalty for contravention of certain provisions of the legislation. Well, it also seeks to constitute a fund for the welfare of the Antarctic research work and the protection of the environment and the icy continent. And a big story coming in: Kerala has reported India's third monkeypox case. A 34-year-old person who is a returnee from the UAE has become the third person to test positive for monkeypox in the nation as well as in the state. Now, as per the Kerala Health Department, the person had arrived on July the 6th and started showing symptoms of fever and spots from July the 13th. Well, subsequently, the individual was admitted at the Manjeri Medical College and is currently undergoing treatment. The patient's condition is stable, and all those who were in close contact with the patient are being closely monitored. Well, this is the big story that we have this hour. Kerala has reported India's third monkeypox case. A 35-year-old person who is a returnee from the UAE has become the third person to test positive for the monkeypox in the nation as well as the state. Now, as per the Kerala Health Department, the person had arrived on July the 6th and started showing symptoms of fever and spots from July the 13th. Well, subsequently, the individual was admitted to Manjeri Medical College and is currently undergoing treatment. The patient's condition is stable, and all those who were in close contacts with the patient are being closely monitored. Well, the first monkeypox case in India was recorded in Kerala's Kollam on July the 14th after a man who arrived from the UAE tested positive, while the second was reported after a 31-year-old man who had returned from Dubai and was under treatment at the Pariyaram Medical College Hospital at Kannur tested positive for the disease. Well, actor Salman Khan met Mumbai Commissioner of Police weeks after death threat from Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Well, Lawrence Bishnoi is an accused in the murder case of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala, who is currently in the custody of the Punjab Police. Salman Khan met Mumbai Police Commissioner to seek gun permit after threat notes from the Bishnoi gang. Well, a lawyer representing actor Salman Khan in Black Buck poaching case claimed that he has received a death threat from the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. And moving on now, the Central Board of Secondary Education today declared the Class 12 board results in which girls have outshined boys by 3.29%. Well, girls outperformed boys with an overall pass percentage of 94.54%, while boys secured 91.25%. Now, over 33,000 students scored above 95%, while 1.34 lakh got above 90%. The overall pass percentage was 99.37% in 2021 as compared to 92.71% this year. 92.71% of students have passed the CBSE 12 board examination. Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala has recorded the highest pass percentage at 98.83%, followed by Bengaluru with 98.16%. While Chennai with 97.79%, Delhi East and Delhi West with 96.29%. However, Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj has recorded the lowest pass percentage at 83.71%, and meanwhile, 4.72% of students have been placed in the compartment.
We were eagerly waiting और जब आज सुबह मतलब exactly पता चल गया कि result आ गया, and it's so shock, little bit shock as well. But जब पता चला तो एकदम से खोला तो it was like very exciting, no news, so we were very happy. And even this time again, girls got very good result. मतलब डर तो था, even I was having both subject med plus non med, तो मुझे maths का डर था, but it was really good. I got 99 in bio, 95 in physics, and 96 in chemistry, but again 85 in maths. So it was good. Main focus is always this time अगर हमें colleges भी चाहिए तो उसके लिए exams crack करने हैं, तो main motive तो हमेशा competitive ही रहा है, तो this time NEET. हमारा एक्चुअली सीबीएसई का टर्म 1 मतलब ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन ही था, बट दैट वाज ऑब्जेक्टिव. जो टर्म 2 था वो सब्जेक्टिव था, तो इसमें थोड़ा डर था क्योंकि ऑब्जेक्टिव हो जाता है, तो सब्जेक्टिव में थोड़ा डर था, बट बाकी सब इज लाइक ओके.
बहुत ज़्यादा डर लग रहा था. मेरे अभी रिजल्ट देखते रहे मेरे हाथ शिवर कर रहे थे, बट रिजल्ट वाज वेरी गुड. I scored 94% and yeah, I was very happy. I really worked very hard, literally very hard. खुश बहुत हुए. My mother was very happy and yeah, सब खुश थे. हाँ जी, टर्म 1 जो था वो ऑब्जेक्टिव था और टर्म 2 सब्जेक्टिव था. तो ऑब्जेक्टिव में थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम होती है एमसीक्यूज में ऑब्वियसली, बट सब्जेक्टिव इजी था.
And shifting focus now, social media was left abuzz on Wednesday after a video of US President Joe Biden supposedly saying he has cancer was shared widely. He made the comment while giving a speech on climate crisis and global warming in Somerset, Massachusetts. Now, the social media users quickly got curious and wanted to know if the US president indeed was hiding a cancer diagnosis. Now, the White House quickly jumped in, clarifying that Biden is not battling cancer. Well, Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates retweeted a post by the Washington Post chief writer and editor Glenn Kessler, which said that Biden and his non-melanoma skin cancers removed before he took office. Well, Kessler attached the US president's November 2021 medical report to back his statement, in which Biden's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, noted that he is fit to successfully execute the duties of the presidency.
My mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why can't for the longest time Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Now, amid the protest and crisis, Dinesh Gunawardena takes oath as the new Prime Minister of Sri Lanka today. A stalwart of Sri Lankan politics, Gunawardena earlier served as the Foreign Minister and the Education Minister. He was appointed as the Home Minister in April by the then President, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. While President Ranil Wickremesinghe is also set to swear in his cabinet today, comprising members of the previous government. While the Prime Minister's post fell vacant after Ranil Wickremesinghe was sworn in as the country's 8th president on Thursday, after Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country and then resigned as president. Now, Guwahati is all set to host an international T20 cricket match on October the 1st this year. Guwahati will be hosting the T20 match between India and South Africa. The match will take part as India tour of the South African team ahead of the World Cup, while India and South Africa will face off in 3 one-day international matches as well as T20 matches. Now, the match would be held at the Barsapara Cricket Stadium in Guwahati. The last international cricket match held in Guwahati was on January the 5th, 2020, which took place between India and Sri Lanka. Now, more sports updates. BCCI President Sourav Ganguly on a Thursday informed that the Asia Cup, which was scheduled to be held in Sri Lanka, has been shifted to the UAE. While Sri Lanka Cricket, or the SLC, earlier had informed the Asian Cricket Council, or the ACC, that the board will not be in a position to host the upcoming edition of the Asia Cup T20 because of the economic and political crisis in the country. Well, the development comes after the SLC recently postponed the 3rd edition of the Lanka Premier League, or the LPL, due to the ongoing crisis. Asia Cup is slated to be held from August 27th to September the 11th and will be played in the T20 format. Well, in the run-up to the release of the Hollywood movie The Grey Man, featuring Indian actor Dhanush, the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony, have been on a whirlwind promotional tour. Their latest stop was India. Well, the director duo are fairly familiar with the country, having previously shot here. The Netflix offering has a strong India connect, as Dhanush features in the movie alongside Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans and Anna de Armas. Now, for Joe, a visit to the country takes him back to his Avenger days. The director is glad that with The Grey Man, he got the opportunity to explore talent from a world far removed from Hollywood. Well, Joe added that the movie is so global that characters from all over the world are coming to kill the Grey Man. And the directors thought it would be exciting to have one of the best Indian actors, Dhanush, to join the film. He plays the main assassin who is hunting down Ryan's character. The screen adaptation of Mark Greeny's novel series of the same name revolves around a CIA spy, Sierra 6, who is on the run after he accidentally uncovers the agency's secrets. For Dhanush, shooting his second international film after the extraordinary journey of the Fakir was a novel experience. He said that at the end of the day, filmmaking is the same everywhere. But to evolve as an actor, it's great to learn, find new territories and new challenges.
Yep. Thanks for joining us virtually and here in person. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. We just want to thank India, as always, for being such an incredible host. This is our third visit here, and it's always an amazing experience every time we come.
Lovely. You had a wonderful premiere last night.
Yes, we went to the premiere last night. Indian fans are so passionate about storytelling and about movies. It's so refreshing to be here and to feel that energy. And this man here has so many passionate fans that we've never seen anything quite like it.
He's a national treasure.
Yes, he is.
I agree. We actually became familiar with Danusha's work as we were sort of developing The Gray Man. We do a lot of research in terms of what we can do with the action, what we're aspiring to do, and we have a wonderful creative team and a stunt performing team that we work with as we develop those ideas. And many people on that team would start to show us videos of Danush over time, and sort of as examples of really, really fascinating action and cool ideas to do. And as Joe and I kept watching Danush in these clips, we started thinking, well, why are we just looking at him as a reference? Why don't we actually ask him if he wants to be in the movie? And to our great surprise and pleasure, he did. So we had a fantastic experience with him.
If you have kids at home, you will know the rules, right?
Of course.
So my kids are all big fans. We've all gone to the theaters and watched such, the true meaning of larger than life experience. And it's amazing to have had an opportunity to, work with them. It's great.
Well, back to the top story now. The presidential poll has exposed the complete divide in the Assam Congress and the state's opposition ranks once again. Now, of the total 124 MLAs that voted for the presidential polls, 104 backed the NDA candidate Draupadi Murmu, while only 20 voted for the opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha. Well, the results show that as many as 22 opposition MLAs cross-voted in favor of Draupadi Murmu. Now, who are these 22 MLAs and which party do they belong to? Well, the Assam Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, has claimed that of the 22, around 15 to 16 are from the Congress, while a couple or more of AIUDF MLAs voted in favor of the NDA candidate. The Congress has a total of 24 MLAs in the Assam Legislative Assembly, while the AIUDF has 15, which means that close to 70% of the Congress MLAs may have voted in favor of Murmu. Well, this comes as a major embarrassment for the Congress, especially after the party accorded a grand welcome to Sinha in Guwahati just ahead of the presidential polls. While Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, meanwhile, has termed the cross-voting as unanimous support for the NDA president candidate, Draupadi Murmu.
126 জন বিধায়ক আছে তাৰে দুজন বিধায়কে ভোটদান কৰা নাছিল আৰু 124টা ভোট ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি পদৰ প্ৰাৰ্থীৰ বাবে দিয়া হৈছিল তাৰ ভিতৰত দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানীয়ে 104টা ভোট লাভ কৰে আৰু যশৱন্ত সিনহা ডাঙৰীয়াই 20টা ভোট লাভ কৰে মই ভাবো যে ইয়ে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মুৰ প্ৰতি অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ অকুণ্ঠ সমৰ্থনক খুচাইছে আৰু অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ এক প্ৰকাৰ ক'ব গ'লে নিজৰ প্ৰাৰ্থী হিচাপে অসমৰ ৰাইজে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানী গ্ৰহণ কৰিছে মই ভাৰতৰ পৰৱৰ্তী ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি হিচাপে দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰীয়ানীক অভিনন্দন জনাইছো আৰু তেখেতৰ কাৰ্যকালত দেশৰ গৰিমা আৰু বৃদ্ধি হওক তাৰ বাবে কামনা কৰিছো মই যিমান দূৰ জানো আমি 22টা ভোট এক্সট্ৰা পাইছো 4জন প্ৰায় সেই ভোটৰ 15-16টা ভোট আমি কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা পাইছো
15-16টা ভোট
কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে 15-16 ভোট কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে এই কাৰণে আহিছে যে যিবিলাক সমষ্টিত আদিবাসী আৰু বাগানৰ ভোট আছে তেওঁলোকৰ এটা মানসিকতাত আছিলে যে এইবাৰ আমি দ্ৰৌপদী মুৰ্মুক ভোট দিব লাগে আৰু বাকি 2-4টা ভোট ইউডিএফৰ পৰা ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্টটো আছে আন দলো আছে কিন্তু মই জানাত 15-16টা ভোট কংগ্ৰেছৰ পৰা আহিছে এইটো মই বিভাজন বুলি নাভাবো ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি পদৰ প্ৰাৰ্থী বা ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ ভোট বিবেকৰ জৰিয়তে হয় আৰু সেই কাৰণে মই ভবা নাই ই বিভাজন বিবেকৰ মতে পৰিচালিত হৈ ভোট দিছে
Now, meanwhile, the Congress seems to be short of points of defense when it comes to explaining the numbers. While CLP leader Debabrata Saikia shifted the entire blame over cross-voting by MLAs to the ruling BJP.
It is very unfortunate that in spite of the possibility of getting 37 votes, the opposition candidate in presidential elections in Assam got only 20 votes. And we Congress had 24 members. So it is apparent that at least 4 of our colleagues did not vote. And it may be more if the other parties claim that they have voted for the opposition candidate, then it may be 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know the number, and it is a secret ballot. But it is very unfortunate. Thus, ruling party, Bharatiya Janata Party, is responsible for such kind of dirty politics, and we condemn the policy of the BJP to destroy opposition unity.
And that's all we have for you on the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. Thanks for watching.
Evening Prime, every day at 7 p.m.